feels like rain today, and maybe I will go out and stay, and soon everything will be dead and bare. Oh, look for flowers and they will be there. I'll wait a week, and then by the time it's cold, I'll be sitting here kicking the kitchen door. I should have put seeds in the ground. I'm gonna go throw a couple down. No time at all, there'll be snow in my hair. There'll be trees and reindeers, and all the birds will fly south, and everyone will stay in their own house. I'll wait a week, and then by the time it's cold, I'll be sitting here kicking the kitchen door. I should have put seeds in the ground. I'm gonna go throw a couple down. No more dancing on the hardwood floors when we're barefoot and it's barely worn. We'll just have to stay in bed and pull the covers tight over our heads. I'll wait a week, and then by the time it's cold, I'll be sitting here kicking the kitchen door. I should have put seeds in the ground. I'm gonna go throw a couple down.
Hi there, got a farm right up the street.
Really? We
Yep.
got to protect our water.
Put a dye in it, prove it safe. Real easy.
Yeah, why did you need a exemption from the Clean Water Drinking
Because it
Act?
poisoned the well in under 3 weeks. You can't drink oil. What it look.
And then you fake a little report to the inspector. I've done it. So that's how the game is played. You can just look at the Gulf Coast, or you look at Bassy Coal, look at any other industry, and you'll see how that's the game. That's the way the game is played now. Why would we think it'd be any different in fracking? Now it's particularly bad here because the chicken have a fox in the chicken house that's supposed to be regulating them, and that's the ODNR, who are squishy soft on regulation. So here's my first song, and I need you to help me to sing it. Here's the introduction.
Indiscriminately dumping toxic radioactive waste, punching holes in the ground and injecting it beneath our feet is radical. That is what's radical. And we're here today to force our decision makers to address the issue in a meaningful way. Ban injection wells. Radioactive waste from going into our landfills that are not meant to handle radioactive waste. Ban frack waste in every town. Ohio ain't your dumping ground. Ban frack waste in every town. Ohio ain't your dumping ground. So I'm really proud to bring up our first speaker. He's here today to talk to us about the global movement for a shift away from fossil fuels and about the national anti-fracking movement. Join me in welcoming world-renowned author, activist, and co-founder of 350.org, Bill McKibben.
All right, let's see. What a pleasure to be here. Last year we were in Columbus and we were at the state capitol and it was incredibly beautiful to be under the dome. This year we're at the most beautiful courthouse I've ever seen. I just walked inside. You should go do it afterwards. It's just unbelievable. Ohio, at one point in its history, obviously took great pride in its citizenry and great pride in its possibilities and in its future. And it needs to again, instead of just selling the rights to pollute across this state. There was a terrific op-ed piece in the New York Times today by Tony Ingraffia, the Cornell scientist. And what he pointed out, he said, there's no way that natural gas, that frack gas any longer can be said to represent a bridge to the future. It's a gangplank to the globally warmed world that we're trying hard to prevent. And what I'm here today to tell you is only that not only is the fight that you're fighting absolutely essential for the communities of Ohio, and it is reasonable and sensible that that's where you'd be mostly focused, but it's also a fight that's absolutely essential to the future of this planet. Right. And it's a fight in which you have many, many, many allies. I've spent the last 10 days or so out on the road with this thing we've been calling summer heat. And I've been in the Mackinac Straits up between Lake Huron and Lake Michigan, where they're trying to put a tar sands pipeline underneath the Great Lakes. And the next night I was in Vancouver, Washington, where they want to put a huge oil port along the Columbia River. And the next night it was in Moab, Utah, where they're fighting the first tar sands mine in the United States. And then on to Maine, where they're fighting pipelines. And Washington and Massachusetts, where yesterday a bunch of people were arrested outside a big coal-fired power plant. And in Washington, D.C., the day before that, where hundreds of grandparents who had marched from Camp David to the White House, many of them were arrested trying to stop the Keystone Pipeline. And on tomorrow or the next day to Richmond in California, where people are trying to shut down the Chevron refinery before it starts taking tar sands. The point is, all these fights are the same fight, and they are the most desperate fight we've ever been in as a planet. Last summer, the Arctic melted. We've lost 80% of the ice that was in the Arctic 40 years ago, the sea ice. Whoa. We've taken, that is, one of the biggest physical features on Earth, and we've broken it, okay? And the other one's close behind. The oceans get more acidic day by day by day. See, the thing is that much as people would like to, there's no real way to drown out the science, you know? There's no horn you can sound. There's no horn that one can sound that's loud enough to blot out what we're doing to the planet. Someplace around the planet now, almost every day, we see incredible, devastating flood because warm air holds more water vapor than cold. The atmosphere is about 5% wetter than it used to be. And so we see these horrendous downpours that take huge numbers of lives in place after place after place. Even big parts of corporate America are starting to understand that. The insurance industry, the industry we ask to analyze risk in our economy, has been sounding the alarm. The only people who refuse to get it are the fossil fuel industry, and they refuse to get it because doing things the way they're doing them now has made them the richest industry in the history of this planet. Right. But we do not need them to do that. Right. There were days this summer in the country of Germany, where they generated more than half the power they used from solar panels within their borders. other news. That's the other news that the energy industry would like to drown out, okay? But it's coming. In those places where people have made the choice, we're proving that we can do it. Think about that. In Germany, Munich is north of Montreal. Think what a country could do that had, oh, I don't know, California, Texas, Nevada, New Mexico, Arizona, Florida, or even Ohio at its disposal. Think about that sun. Think about the dramatic solar spill that we are experiencing today, okay? All of it going to waste because one looks around the roofs here and there's nothing to capture that sun. There are more solar panels in Bavaria than there are in the United States. And that's because they built the kind of movement that demanded change. And that's the kind of movement that you all are building here. And sometimes it comes, sometimes we have to play defense against terrible things like fracking or against the tar sands pipeline or whatever. And sometimes we have to play offense too. That's why all over the country, people are in institutions and colleges and churches are divesting their holdings in fossil fuel companies. Because they understand that if it's wrong to wreck the climate, it's wrong to profit from that wreckage, okay? You have allies all over the planet. This movement is rising and rising quickly. They said that there was no use standing up to fracking anywhere. But you know, so far we've managed to keep it entirely at bay in New York. In my state of Vermont, we banned it all together, just like they did in Quebec, and just like they did in France. We're gonna roll it back here in Ohio too. The day will come when people wonder, what were we thinking? We knew that we were triggering earthquakes, and yet we kept doing the same thing. That is very strange human behavior. And it's time for that human behavior to come to an end, even if it's making a few people very, very rich. So we're side by side, people with you all across this country and all around the world. And the good news is that the resistance we're building and the science that it's based on is loud enough to drown out the money. That's what we have to do. Together we will do it. I thank you all so much for being here, and good luck today. I'm afraid I'm headed off because I've got to get to the next stop on this place, but I will go with that vision of the courthouse and all of you in my mind. Thank you so much for all you do. It's really good to see you.
Summertime is coming down, and all the leaves are turning brown. It's getting colder in the morning, looking dark, looking stormy. My body says it feels like rain today, and maybe I will go out and stay.